What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. Today, we got some discussion points from the last video, the top comment, where I just want to, instead of talk about something, just show something instead. I think it's going to be easier to show. Maybe we'll get into some gameplay as well, but we've also got rewards to come, so I might just have a look at the account afterwards because I've got a fair few things to get through. But the top comment from the previous video is from Conor McCabe. He says, "Sorry Net, but please don't compare Vieira with Luis Gustavo." That's exactly what we're going to do. Please don't compare Vieira with Luis Gustavo. Chemstars simply do not provide the boost which they say they do, and there is utterly no comparison between the above two players. So first and foremost, my comparison was between Patrick Vieira and Luis Gustavo's second in form, which is who we're using. And both of those players would be used on a Shadow Chemstar. Now, first things first, I'm not saying that Gustavo is a better player than Patrick Vieira. In fact, I'm very aware that Patrick Vieira is a better player than Luis Gustavo. What I'm saying is that in terms of the 1.2 million coin thing here and the 30k thing here, there's relevance here, right? It's relative and it's relevant. So the first things first is we look at the recommended position per game. So Luis Gustavo becomes a 92 centre-back or 91.8, which is where I played him, and Vieira becomes a 94.5. And as a CDM, 91.7 for Vieira, which is where I played him, and 89.1 for Gustavo. So Vieira's only marginally a better centre-back according to the position per game rating. Now, I don't think that these are an exact... I don't think these are perfectly relevant for Ultimate Team, specifically because it doesn't take into consideration some things that make Patrick Vieira better. And those things would include the fact that he's got an extra skill move, one extra star, not that that makes much difference. He's 2 inches taller. It doesn't take that into consideration, but that is something to consider. And he has medium work rates versus the medium-high of Gustavo. Now, I personally believe that the medium-high work rates, although I don't think that they make a humongous difference to the way the game is played, I think they make a difference. I think they are relevant. They are important. Everything works in conjunction with all the other things. And I think it's fair to say that good work rates are better than not good work rates. I think that's a fair assumption to make. We then look at traits. Now, specialities mean nothing because these ones here, specialities, these are taken by the stats. So if you boost your player, I think for example, Speedster is having more than 180 total points between sprint speed and acceleration. So if somebody has 90 sprint speed, 90 acceleration, they earn the Speedster speciality. If someone has 99 acceleration and 81 sprint speed, they also have 180 total stats there, so they earn the Speedster straight. So the specialities. So specialities are derived by the stats, but traits are given by EA. Now, what does Vieira have? He has leadership, which, for all we know, means nothing because we don't know what these mean in the first place. We can infer from their name. But leadership to me is something that would be more important in offline than online for AI players. Power header could be relevant, could be important from corners, from set pieces, or just winning headers. And Luis Gustavo has dives into tackles. So in terms of their traits, which are important, I think it's fair to say that no one has anything outstanding here. And in terms of work rates, I think it's fair to say that Luis Gustavo has a better work rate than Patrick Vieira. Patrick Vieira has better skill moves than Luis Gustavo, and Patrick Vieira has a little bit of height on his side, which I also think is important. Then we look at the stats. So Vieira is way quicker, super important, definitely. I think that's a very relevant stat, especially for a CDM tracking back, running around the field. He's got a lot more pace. That's absolutely true. I'm going to ignore the other stats right now just to look at the defending stats, because defending is what you want your CDM to have. They both have 99 interceptions. They both have 99 stand tackle and 99 slide tackle. Vieira has 4 more marking and 4 more heading accuracy. So in terms of just an out-and-out defender, in terms of making the tackle, making the challenge, they are essentially the same. Vieira has a little bit extra heading accuracy, which is irrelevant when making a tackle. It is literally heading accuracy. It's not how high he jumps, how well he wins headers. It is literally the direction of the header when he heads the ball. And his marking is a little bit higher, which will be important for when you're not controlling him, but not important when you are controlling him. So when you're not controlling Patrick Vieira or Luis Gustavo, their marking stat is important to where they mark players on the field. But when you're in control, that marking stat is entirely irrelevant because you're the person that's moving them around the field. So interceptions, I would also say this is only a stat that's relevant when you're not controlling them. But because auto lunges are in this game and sometimes they auto lunge to try and intercept the ball, I actually wonder how I just want to know more about this stat. And again, I blame EA for that, for not giving us relevant information. Stand tackle and slide tackle are identical. Now, Vieira has 1 more aggression, negligible, 10 more strength, quite important, so a lot more strength there. 5 more stamina. Because he's a CDM for Luis Gustavo, I've played like 100 games with him. I've never had an issue with his stamina, so I don't think that's a concern. And 2 extra jumping. Then we can take a look at the other stats. So he's got way more composure, which again, I feel like is a super important stat. So yeah, Vieira's like way above and beyond there. Dribbling, marginal boost. Ball control, quite high boost. And I do think that this is an important stat. And the same as reactions. He's got 4 more reactions, and I do think that's an important stat. And 1 more balance. Same agility, quite relevant. Passing is interesting because they both have the same short passing, and that's the most important thing. Although Vieira has far more vision, so his accuracy within the passes is essentially going to be better. I still don't understand how passing works, though. You know, I want to say this. Like, when we saw that video from EA about how vision is interacted with in-game, it seems like to me there's no need for a short passing and long passing stat because vision is where it's at. Like, the more vision you have, the wider the cone of vision is, so the more accurate the pass. So what's the point of having good short passing and long passing? Because if they have bad vision anyway, they can't see the passes to make them. So I don't know how it works. But bottom line is they have the same short passing. Free kicks and crossing are irrelevant, and vision is heavily in Vieira's favour. So shooting as well I don't think is too relevant. Luis Gustavo absolutely dominates in terms of shot power and long shots, but they're my CDMs, right? So they don't get up the field, they don't bang many shots, it's not really that big of a deal. Volleys and penalties are completely irrelevant anyway. Finishing and positioning is better for Vieira. They're both attacking-minded things, and these are specifically for in the box as well, not outside the box. So Gustavo is going to give you a better return in terms of goals to games from outside the box. Vieira is going to give you a better return in terms of goals to games inside the box. We've been through pace. Now, if you look at these cards for the value, 1.2 million for Vieira, or 1.3 on PlayStation, 30k for Luis Gustavo, there is not so much difference in these two players that makes Vieira be a guy that I'm like, I absolutely desperately need to get him over Luis Gustavo. It just doesn't happen for me. It's just not there for me personally. You're entitled to believe what you want to believe. When people say the Chemstars simply do not provide the boost, which they say they do, they do. This is EA last year. FIFA 17, Ultimate Team Chemistry, and FUT 17. It's the same this year. They explain in detail how it works. I'm not going to bore you with reading and explaining this because they also provided a graphical representation of how it works. This again is, let me go back to that first screen. Here, this link here, the table, the following table outlines the attribute values a player with 100 team chemistry and 10 personal chemistry will receive, broken down by chem style. This is the table. I've just grabbed screen grabs of it individually. So they say on a basic chem style, you will get 5 pace, 5 shooting, 5 finishing, 5 shot power, 5 volleys, 5 penalties. So on a hunter, you will get 15 acceleration and 10 sprint speed. On a catalyst, you will get 15 acceleration and 10 sprint speed. This isn't footbin or foothead or footwiz just making these stats up out of nowhere. For passing, in the passing category, an architect chem style gives 15 crossing, 15 long pass, 10 short pass, 5 curve. These stats aren't just made up from nowhere. If we look at defending, the shadow chem style again gives 10 interceptions, 10 heading accuracy, 15 for marking, slide tackle and stand tackle. So the argument cannot be that chem styles don't do what they say they should do, because they do. What the argument should be is what you think one stat should feel like versus what you think another stat should feel like. And I think there's a big discrepancy. And in fact, if we go back to Vieira and Luis Gustavo, Vieira has 8 more sprint speed than Luis Gustavo. But again, and I blame EA for this, because there's such a lack of knowledge and understanding as to what these stats visually represent, we don't know what difference 90 versus 82 should actually be. We don't know the difference. Is it if they ran from the halfway line to the goal line, how much further ahead should Vieira be? And then, of course, you have to take into consideration the person running with the ball is going to be slower than the person running without the ball. You have to take into consideration acceleration, which is obviously how fast they hit their sprint speed. You have to take into consideration stamina, which is how long they can remain at their highest speed. You have to take into consideration other, like, composure as well, because when they're being pressured by a defender, it affects the way that they perform. So there's more to consider than just the stats. But I think when people say, oh, he doesn't feel like he runs this fast, it's not a case of him not feeling like he runs this fast. It's a case of us not understanding how fast A versus how fast B should be. One of the things that was raised as a point was the fact that Chemstars are wrong because otherwise any striker with a Hunter Chemstar is basically Cristiano Ronaldo. And I want to explain why that's incorrect. First of all, if we put a Hunter Chemstar on Danny Welbeck, he gets fast. 96 pace, right? 98 acceleration, 94 sprint speed. That's fast. But what you have to consider is that that is fast under one stringent set of rules. That is fast when he is running in a straight line without the ball. And that is it. When he is running with the ball, agility and balance come into consideration. So you have to consider he doesn't have high agility and he doesn't have high balance. So he's going to feel slower, he's going to feel clunkier. And so when you're, let's say, Michael Keane, let's go and compare him to Keane. When people say to me, oh, my 98 pace Danny Welbeck just easily got caught up by Keane, let's pop the relevant Chemstars on. So Keane has 12 less sprint speed, but again, things to consider are as follows. Now, this isn't comparing two players in one position that you're trying to take the one player for. This is comparing two players that are going to be facing off against each other, right? So you look at that and people say, how the hell did Keane catch up with Welbeck? That's unreasonable. He's got 96 pace and he's got 85 pace. Well, again, running with the ball is slower than running without the ball. And no one here can tell me what the difference between 96 and 85 pace actually is. So nobody knows how fast Welbeck should be with the ball versus without the ball. 96 pace with the ball might be 80 pace. It might be 75 pace. It might be 85 pace. It might be 88 pace. It might be 91 pace. We don't know. We can only infer from the opportunities we're given to play the game, right? But it's also important to consider the fact that when Michael Keane is chasing down Danny Welbeck, not only would he likely have a head start in terms of stamina, because let's say you pick the ball up on the halfway line and you play a through ball to Danny Welbeck, who starts running on the outside of Michael Keane. Danny Welbeck is now already using his stamina. So he's already used that acceleration to get to his high sprint speed, and his stamina bar is deteriorating. Michael Keane starts and then starts running. So by the time Michael Keane and Danny Welbeck have run 5, 8, 10 yards, Danny Welbeck's stamina is already considerably lower than Michael Keane's, giving Keane an opportunity to catch up. On top of that, Keane is running without the ball, which is notably faster than people running with the ball. And because Danny Welbeck has super low agility and balance, well, a super low balance and relatively low agility for a striker, he is going to feel a lot heavier and a lot slower, giving Michael Keane the ability to catch up. So when people say there's no way Chemstars work, Danny Welbeck should never be caught up by Michael Keane, two things to consider. Number one, people don't consider the stats that or the things that I've just talked about. But also number two is that people think that this is Michael Keane's pace. People think he has 72 pace. Let me tell you guys, he doesn't have 72 pace. He has, oh damn, I screwed that up. I'm trying to go through these things here. Let me compare Danny Welbeck to Keane again. People say, oh, if Chemstars were real, how does my 96 pace Welbeck get caught up by a 72 pace Keane? And because they look at it like that, they don't consider putting a Chemstar on the player that they're also looking at playing against. So they think that Welbeck should just obliterate and abuse Michael Keane for pace, when if they actually put the shadow Chemstar on him, they'd recognise that he actually gets up to a considerable speed and pace as well. So there's something to be said for the fact that Chemstars do work, but both parties get Chemstars on. So when you're talking about combating head to head, take into consideration all of the stats, not just the boosted stats. And then the other thing that I see a lot is that Danny Welbeck would be the same as Cristiano Ronaldo if, you know, like if they have Chemstars on. If Chemstars worked as they should work, Danny Welbeck will be the same as Ronaldo. Well, first of all, let me not put a Chemstar on Ronaldo, because again, people look at this and they just immediately assume. Well, first off the bat, Danny Welbeck has 96 pace, Ronaldo has 90, so he has more pace than Ronaldo, sure. He has 11 less dribbling, 9 less shooting, 4 more defending, but completely irrelevant, 2 less physical, and 11 less passing. And that's before we even apply a Chemstar to Cristiano Ronaldo. So if we actually apply a Chemstar to Cristiano Ronaldo, he now has 3 less pace, 15 less shooting, and all the others remain the same. But to be considered is not only that, but is also the other stats that make Cristiano Ronaldo considerably better than Danny Welbeck under any stretch of the imagination. First and foremost, Cristiano Ronaldo has a 4-star weak foot versus a 3-star of Welbeck. Cristiano Ronaldo has 5-star skill moves versus a 3-star of weak foot. And Cristiano Ronaldo has high-low work rates, which means he will use less stamina and he will stay higher up the field in a more attacking position than Danny Welbeck, who has high-high, who will travel back with the team when they don't have possession. So immediately, Ronaldo just excels without even looking at the in-game stats. On top of that, Danny Welbeck has no specialities, but again, they are derived by stats. So in-game, he will actually have some specialities that are given. So he will have Speedster, Danny Welbeck, for example, because he's got more than 180 stat points. But in terms of traits, he has Speed Dribbler. I don't know what Speed Dribbler trait does. I assume it means he can run faster with the ball at his feet, so it negates a lot of that agility and balance like deficiency. But Cristiano Ronaldo has a lot of traits. Takes powerful driven free kicks, flair, long shot taker, and speed dribbler. He has more traits. And the other thing to consider that, again, nobody ever really considers, is that Cristiano Ronaldo has custom animations in the game. He has unique animations that only he and select other people that EA have put custom animations in for can do. Danny Welbeck doesn't have those. So when people say, and let me find the comment. I can't find the actual comment, but there was one comment between, like, it was literally saying, you know, you slap a Hunter card on Danny Welbeck and he's basically the same as Ronaldo. He's just basically not. The other thing, and the final thing we're going to talk about here before we move on, is if you believe Chemstars do not work, what I ask of you is this weekend league, this Division 1 run, apply a chem style that goes against the values of the player to your team. So I assume you use Eric Bailly, because everybody uses Eric Bailly. And I assume everybody has a shadow chem style on him, which puts him to an insane pace and insane defensive stat. It becomes a 91 rated centre back. And I do want to look at the this area of the game as well in just a second. It makes him this fast, right? These are stats are important for a defender. If you believe chem styles don't work, or even that chem styles don't give the boost that they say they do, you won't have a problem in trying what I'm asking here and being successful with it. So Bailly's passing, shooting, and dribbling are irrelevant to him, right? Passing, shooting, and dribbling. So this weekend league, give him a Maestro chem style. Give him something that boosts that shooting, that boosts that passing, and that boosts that dribbling. In fact, don't even give him that. Give him a Deadeye. I don't even want to give him the reactions boost, because for me, reactions are an important part of a centre-back. Give him Deadeye, right? So he gets these pace stats, these mediocre defensive stats, no boost in dribbling, and he gets a boost in completely irrelevant areas of the field. Play with him under this chem style. Play with him with a Deadeye on, and tell me there's not a huge discrepancy in how he plays. Tell me that chem style was irrelevant or not as good as it said it was after you play weekend league or a divisions run with Eric Bailly under with terrible with a terrible chem style. The same for Antonio Valencia. Again, I'm just going to assume people use Antonio Valencia with a shadow. Boost his defensive stats up to very reasonable. He's got good dribbling already. He's got great physicality and great pace. Give him a Deadeye. Again, give all your defenders Deadeye chem styles. So what you're going to do now is you're going to boost his shooting and passing, which is largely irrelevant. And you're not going to boost his pace. You're not going to boost these defensive stats. And then tell me how he played. Tell me if he felt like the player that he felt like before. With your attackers, assuming you have Anthony Martial, and we're just going with the meta players here, right? I'm not taking like into consideration the super cards that you might have. I'm taking the meta players. Anthony Martial with a Hunter card becomes a beast for a few reasons. 99 pace, good agility and balance. Not insane, but good enough. Like, if you think back to Welbeck, Welbeck had really low balance and 82 agility. So Martial has higher agility and higher balance, much better ball control, much better dribbling in general. He has great positioning, finishing and shot power and 99 pace. And he has 4-star, which Danny Welbeck doesn't have. And he has traits. Tries to beat defensive line, finesse shot trait, flair trait, speed dribbler trait, and technical dribbler trait. He has 5 traits versus the speed dribbler of Danny Welbeck. So already he's just considerably better because of the opportunities he's given from EA, not even just because of the gameplay. But with a hunter, Danny Welbeck becomes an 86 striker or an 86, 85 left wing, left forward, and that's where people play him. They play him in those positions. Don't give him a hunter card. Give him something like... His passing is already so low. Let's give him... What is it? Is it Guardian? No, I'm looking for the one... Not Gladiator, not Backbone, not Anchor. Is it Powerhouse? Yeah, give him Powerhouse, guys. Give him something that boosts defending and passing. And tell me how good Anthony Martial is now. Sure, he's still going to be quite quick. But his finishing and the where he stands on the pitch is going to be so terrible. So if you use Anthony Martial or any winger that you have, any striker that you have, apply a powerhouse chem style to your attackers, apply a dead-eye chem style to your defenders, and for your midfielders, if you have a defensive-minded midfielder like Arturo Vidal, who again, on a shadow card, gets like a huge boost. Insane defending, great physicals already, decent enough passing, okay dribbling, very good pace. If you're using Vidal as a CDM, you don't care about dribbling. And you probably don't care about physicals because this is already high, but we're not going to take that into consideration. Let's take shooting. So dribbling and shooting, let's give him a sniper. Use a sniper on your Arturo Vidal and tell me that he doesn't suffer as a player. Because I'm promising you guys he will. And only when you use the opposite chem styles of what is relevant for the players that you use right now will you truly understand the importance of chem styles and how they affect a player in game and how they affect your team's performance. Because for those of you that don't believe that chem styles work as well as they should work, that's the only way you're going to understand my perspective and agree with me or see my perspective that they do work as intended, and that EA have given us these stats, they've given us this information, and so I play the game based off of that. I'm not going to play the game based off of what some people feel or what other people feel. I'm going to play the game based off of the facts that we've been given as to how we should play the game. So in my opinion, chem styles do exactly as they say they should do, and if you believe like Conor McGabe believes that chem styles simply do not provide the boost which they say they do, and there is utterly no comparison between Vieira and Gustavo, then you'll have no problem applying the wrong chem styles to players and playing some games. And in anyone that agree, and this is top comment, right, which is why I'm addressing this, because it's top comment, so a lot of people agree with Conor McGabe, you will have no problem in still getting the same results and the same output from your players when the wrong chem styles are applied to them. So I challenge you guys to go and do it. If you've usually finished Gold 1 in Weekend League and you don't believe chem styles work, go and put the wrong chem styles on and let's see if you still finish Gold 1 in Weekend League, you know? I'm interested, I'm intrigued to see. So I wanted to show that instead of talk about it. And that's why, as well, for example, and let's take Eric Bailly as another prime example. Eric Bailly, we're going to compare him to Rio Ferdinand. Oh yes, we're going to compare him to Rio Ferdinand. And one of the reasons why I don't believe these players are worth it, the icons, I don't believe icons are worth it. We're going to apply a shadow chem style to Rio Ferdinand. I think it's fair to say that that's the chem style that I see the most on him. And we're going to apply the same thing to Eric Bailly. So Rio Ferdinand has 2 more sprint speed. He has 9 more acceleration, but 2 more sprint speed. So he's only marginally faster. He just gets there quicker. Shooting is entirely irrelevant in the centre backs. Short passing is relevant, I think. So it's fair to say that Ferdinand has better short passing by 11 stats. In terms of dribbling, ball control is important. And again, Rio Ferdinand has a little bit more ball control, but not huge amounts. I don't think composure is super relevant for defenders because it's more about the ball carrier. And the defenders don't get pressed as much because they're defenders, not attackers. And then in defending, same stand tackle, same slide tackle, 2 less marking, 4 less interceptions, and 5 less heading accuracy. And again, heading accuracy is the accuracy of the header. So it doesn't actually play a vital role. So 2 less marking, which again is irrelevant when you're controlling the player, and 4 less interceptions, which is, I feel like it would be irrelevant if you're controlling the player, but because of auto lunge, maybe not. These players are very similar defensively, and then physically, more aggression for but by 1, 3 less strength, but only by 3, 2 more jumping, but only by 2, and 5 less stamina, but centre-back stamina at 78 is more than okay. So when we look at these 2 players, and we look at their values, we're looking at 13k versus 1.3 million, and if you look at their PPG, the RPP, lol, 91 rated for Eric Bailly, and 93.7 for Ferdinand, so he's 2 ratings higher in terms of a defender, and I'm sure there's a defender out there that's closer to 94 for less money. And in fact, let's go and have a look at centre backs in this game that are relatively cheap. Don't want Sergio Ramos. Let's take Jerome Boateng, another big one. Let's see what Jerome Boateng gets as a centre back. 91.7. So 91.7 versus 93.7 was it? So again, it's just a considerably, in terms of like value versus player, you're getting almost the same, just a couple of % less, because this is out of 99, right? It goes up to 99. The centre-back rating will go up to 99, and that's it. So when you're looking at a 91.7 versus a 93.7, you're getting 2% benefit out of a player for 1,000% the value. For me personally, that just doesn't represent value. And when you then take into consideration, and this is what I wanted to talk about on this side of things, and this video is getting super long now, so I apologize. When you take into consideration that this stat is derived by just the in-game stats, this does not take into consideration height, work rates, weak foot, skill moves, traits, or specialities, right? That's where you see the true value of players. Does that player that's 92 rated centre-back versus that player that's a 93 or 94 rated centre-back have better work rates, have more height, have more stamina, have more traits? You know what I mean? That's where you get the true value out of these players. And that's why I think personally that Chemstars are super important stat to look at, and why I don't mind playing someone like Luis Gustavo at CDM, because what you get out of Luis Gustavo is a guy that's fast, with perfect work rates, great defending stats, good physical stats, and the ability to pass the ball. He gives me everything I need from a CDM for 30,000 coins. Why am I going to go and waste 1.2 million coins on Patrick Vieira for a little bit of height? For the, oh my god, he's got an icon. This is not going to make me play better, and it's not going to make me defend better against my opponent for having that Patrick Vieira in the team. This is a good enough player for good value, and that is for me why I've got the team that I've got, and why I compared Luis Gustavo with Patrick Vieira. I was going to go on to I'm going to go onto the account now and have a look at the team, because I've got some more stuff to discuss. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, just one last thing before we get into rewards. I hope you enjoyed the long discussion video. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but sometimes I talk about it whilst playing a game of live FIFA, and I'm unable to really express myself because I can't just show you what I'm talking about. So I thought today I would just show you what I was talking about rather than just talk about it instead. I didn't mean for it to go for nearly 30 minutes. I probably could have done that in 8 to 10 minutes, but I like to discuss thoroughly, and I hope you guys appreciate that. We had one comment from a couple of videos back from Emil. Says, hey Nep, just wondering if it's still your goal to get that super team that you showcased a few weeks ago. Also wondering if you still think that it's possible for you to get it. By the way, loving the series. Keep up the good work, bro. Well, I appreciate the kind words, dude. It's definitely still possible for me to get it. I'm not going to go for it because my opinions on this game has changed. My opinions on who's important and what players are relevant has changed. And my next goal is to kind of like start gearing up for team of the season. I know it's a long time away, but I want to start saving and preparing for that. I got to this team very quick. I got to the amount of coins I have right now very quick. I got to the amount of coins I have right now probably in the first 10 weeks of the game. And we're now, what, maybe 20 weeks into the game. The reason why I didn't do much after that is because not only did I stop playing squad battles, which was a chore, it was a hell of a chore with squad battles. But not only did I stop playing squad battles, which got me... I finished, let's say on average, top 50 every week. 65,000 coins over 10 weeks, that's 650,000 coins, plus the match coins from 45 games. That took me to nearly 1 million coins just from the coins and match earnings, and that's not including the times where I did finish 20th or above. But I also got 2 mega packs and a jumbo rare players pack, so 100k pack and 235k packs, which also have a humongous value long term of, you know, let's say even 50 to 100,000 coins between the two of those from selling players or just not having to buy players by using them. So that's another like million coins or more. So already in just those first 10 weeks, 2 to 3 million coins that I earned came from squad battles, and I haven't played squad battles in many weeks, which means I haven't got those extra 2 to 3 million coins. On top of that, during the first 10 weeks again of FUT Champs, I finished Gold 1 for the first week, because we didn't have a good enough team, and then after that I finished Elite 3 or better, including 2 Elite 1 records for the next 9 consecutive weeks, never missing out on Elite. And only after that last week in week 10 did I decide I'm going to start taking it easier. I haven't played the full complement of games for a while. I've played just 24 games last week. I played just 21 games the week before. Last month I only played 178 of the 200 games, so I didn't even play all of the games in the whole of last month, and that included a couple of the first 2 weeks where I played all of the games. And then this current month I've only played 74 out of the 120 games. So I lost a huge chunk of income from squad battles and a huge chunk of income from FUT Champs, and I've spent less time in general on the account, playing less games and doing less things. And not only the rewards, but also the match coins, the match earnings, just constantly playing the game, constantly getting an influx of coins was important to the series. So the reason why I kind of haven't really got further in this game is because I got so far so quick, but in the meantime I got burnt out, man. Like, I was spending no time with my family, I was spending no personal time on me, no time to do anything. I was literally getting up, sitting in this chair and just sitting there on the Road to Glory account for basically the remainder of the day, taking some time out to go and do a main channel video, and then coming back onto the Road to Glory and either playing or editing or rendering or uploading or doing any kind of social media activity I needed to do to keep the channel and the series afloat. I was doing it until the minute I went to bed, and it just wasn't enjoyable for me. And I know people say, oh, I would love to be able to tell my boss I just can't be bothered to work as hard next week and not show up. And I understand where people are coming from for that, but think of it like this. Think of it, you're working 45, 48 hours a week, and then your boss asks you to do 80 hours a week or 90 hours a week instead. And you don't get paid more, and you don't get the opportunity to take that time off. Eventually, after a while, you would get burnt out, and you'd turn around to your boss and you'd say, dude, I can't do this anymore. Something needs to change. I'm working twice as hard and you're giving me no respite. That's what it was like for me. You know, I spent 10 solid weeks playing nearly 200 games of FIFA a week, and it just got way too much for me. So we took the back end of December and the whole of January as a regrouping month, and this week I'm going to play lightly again. I'm going to play very lightly in FUT Champions again. I don't even know if I'm going to play to Gold 3, right? Because is it from this week that from next week Silver 2 will be enough to auto qualify. But I qualify like 3 or 4 times throughout the week anyway, because I play Division 1 and Daily Knockout Tournament. I always qualify throughout the week regardless, right? So in terms of monthly, to get to Gold 1, what do I need? I need 28 wins to get to Gold 1. I won't even get there. I might even go for Gold 3. You know what I mean? I might just go for Gold 3 and just have like a complete and utter month off, and then try and figure out a way to work harder and better and more efficiently through February, so that we start picking up the huge coins again. I've proven through those 10 weeks, making nearly 8 million coins in 10 weeks, that I can make coins hand over fist just by putting in a solid amount of effort. What I need to do is find a good balance between everything within Ultimate Team and to balance that well with my real life. And given the fact that I've got a newborn coming in a month's time, I don't know how easy that's going to be. But ultimately, to answer your question, I absolutely believe that I can still get an incredible team. But what I'm working on right now, and what I've been working on over the last 6 to 8 weeks, is finding a way to do that without diving into extra gameplay and excess gameplay. I need to get back on top of things. I've been lethargic and lazy with the account. You know, I've not been my best on this account. I want to figure out a more consistent, effective, efficient trading method instead of playing games, so that I can balance well the trading and the playing. but I'm just not there yet. But anyway, guys, this is going to be the end for right now. I'm going to be back when rewards are out, and then that will be the video. Apologies for a super long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I will be right back. Alright guys, so here we are, our FUT Champs rewards are here to be claimed. Some fantastic Gold 3 rewards coming at you. Because I'm a beast, I'm an animal. 30,000 coins, 2 mega packs, 150k pack. Hey man, I'll take it. Coins are coins, results are results. I've got so much to discuss going forwards in the road to glory. I keep getting caught up in certain like mindsets that I need to get out of. Just much to talk about over the coming days, weeks, and probably months. But for today, just to end this video off, because it's already been quite long, we're just going to grab straight into these rewards. Mega pack number 1. I expect absolutely nothing out of this, and we start off with nothing. We don't even get a board in mega pack number 1. We are going to get ourselves Iñaki Williams. Not bad cards, all in all, but obviously a bit useless to us at this day and age. So lots of Spanish players. We'll send all of these guys into the club. We'll send these contracts and fitness cards into the club. Some good coins there, some position modifiers which aren't bad. And we will discard those remaining items and then move on to the Mega Pack number 2. Can we get a board in Mega Pack number 2? Let's see what we get. We do get a board. How about that? Let's see a big player. Let's see something worthwhile. It's German. It's a centre mid. It's Gundogan. That is not bad at all. 85 rated, so a nice big pull there. Better than sometimes the Gold 1 rewards that you would receive. We get an 84 in there as well by way of Falcao. So Gundogan worth about 12k. Falcao probably about 6 to 7k, maybe a little less. Maybe I'm overestimating there. Nothing too insane in there, but a decent return on coins. Some more good position modifiers. Few players there that will pop up into the trade pile, and we will discard the rest. And then last but not least, our 50k pack of dreams. We're about to get informed Neymar. Oh yes, let's go. EA. We do get a board. It's probably not going to be informed Neymar. It is Argentinian. Oh, it's Gaetan. That sucks. When you see the Argentinian flag, you just hope Dybala, Higuain, or Messi. We got Gaetan, an 83 rated, which is very sad. But what are you gonna do? Some more players for the club. So those were our Gold 3 rewards, guys. Not the best things in the world, but not the worst either. We're gonna press on. We're gonna try hard. We're gonna try and gain some more coins over the next few weeks and change this team up and improve this team a little bit. But for now, guys, this is gonna be the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.